The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Here's how you can become a talking head. Brought to you by BTC.
Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ is brought to you by Mahamar, Burger King, Easy Car Sales, Fine Threads, Iron Luck, John's Department Store, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had? Don't that shit that make you mad? They treat you like a slave, put chains all on your soul and put up on your back. They be lying through their teeth, hope you slip up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh, put my kicks up on they desk, unaffected by they threats. On they see, that's how that shut down made me. That's how my daddy raised me. That glittering may not be.
You got it logged and loaded to the Monday, February 23rd edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ in your company right up until 6 p.m. Much to talk about Monday, much to do Monday. Roscoe Thompson is dealing with issues in Abaco. He's good, but he's got some things to deal with, and he'll be back next Monday. But I do want to say, MJ, the power of Talking Heads after 2 years of me and Roscoe beating up our gums. In the words of The Rock, finally, Clay Sweden, the Minister of Works, has decided to remove the debris from the shanty town in Abaco.
Great news, right? Good news there. Good stuff there.
Long overdue. Let's make it happen. Let's follow through. Let's make sure that happens. And then while you're at it, just pivot and get the barge off the reef. And then not only have your potholes nationwide and your knockoff Larry Bird jump shot that you display on TikTok all the time.
You can't get the jump shots on TikTok before he gets to the electricity and the water situation in Eleuthera. That's his whole constituency, right?
Yeah.
Come on. Can't forget Eleuthera and all that they've been through and continue to suffer through.
If this was Game of Thrones, walk you through Eleuthera and all they do is shame, and throw various forms of feces on you.
No, let's not say that.
But that's what they did.
Yeah, they did do that.
Chicken, pig, cow, human.
But we don't have to go through all of that. We're not in medieval times anymore. We just want some of these things to get fixed finally, and then consistency from there on out. Because I really, my heart goes out to everyone in the Eleuthera that daily has to deal with power outages and deal with water not running. And
we get daily updates.
That is a hard way to live in this modern times.
From multiple Eleutherians that tell us, 12 o'clock, Naughty, no water, no light. Hey, 2:30, MJ. Water on, no light. 5 p.m., lights on, water off.
It's like that joke, like you got the Kool-Aid but no sugar, or you got the sugar but no water. Like, come on. You need all the ingredients to feel comfortable, for businesses to thrive, for Bahamians to be healthy. So, yeah, after the debris, well, maybe before, because this is really important, deal with the water and light situation, Mr. Sweeting. I'm sure your constituents in Eleuthera especially, but all Bahamians would appreciate that.
They would. I mean, especially those in Eleuthera. And then also, Exuma's having issues as well, too.
With what?
With the same thing, with
water?
Power and water, yeah.
I hadn't heard that. I would not have thought that would, be happening in so many developments, potential in other Exuma. So that'll be a hindrance if that's the case as well.
Yeah, and the Family Islands have a lot of issues. Steady gaining. I mean, week by week now, I see stuff from Exuma on a regular, Eleuthera on a regular. Abaco been putting out stuff. I see stuff from Andros now. People aren't happy. There are craters. There are cavernous environs known as roads in the Family Islands. You fall in some of them potholes, you're gone.
I think it all comes back to the bigger problem that we have in this country. We don't talk about it nearly enough because it affects all of us regularly, which is maintenance. We don't do the kind of maintenance that needs to be done, and then we end up with a bigger problem later on. By the way, props to the folks that got the maintenance done down there at the Betty Kelly Kenning pool.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. We were able to go there on Friday. They had a tournament or swim meet, and then on Saturday as well. And
Correct.
the conditions, because I remember hearing that place was a mess, right? But the conditions looked much improved to me. So shouts out to the maintenance crew responsible for the pool down there. It looked great. Even in the night, when it was dark and they put the lights on, the swimmers were able to swim, and the pool looked decent. The timing on the meet itself was excellent. Whoever's responsible for running that meet did a great. I mean, when I tell you those races happened like one right after the other, no delays, no long drawn out. It was so well done. Props to the crew responsible for that.
Hats off, and let me say, and MJ could attest to this, as someone who got the hardware on the wall at home.
And a lot of it.
7 straight High Point
You're
trophies.
quite the
I
swimmer.
challenge anybody to show me 7 straight High Point trophies.
Quite the swimmer you are.
When it comes to that swimming thing and you want to talk about goats, you got to put me in that conversation. Because I don't see anybody with 7. I got the hardware now. But I'm glad to see that the effort that we put in, our parents put in, our coaches, like the late Betty Cole, like the late Bud Geiselman, like the late T.K. Kennedy. Those were some of the inspiration. Jimmy Lightman, we still have with us. Shout out to Jimmy Lightman. And Andy Knowles. Can't forget Andy Knowles as well. And those folks painstakingly put down their time, their effort to develop a crop of swimmers that we thought was par excellence. And we did well.
Right.
We did very well. A whole contingent of us. However, to see where swimming has evolved from then to now,
It's amazing.
I am very proud. I tip my hat to the Bahamas Swim Federation. Job well done. Immaculate pool.
It looked
in the
good.
day and in the night.
Yeah, it looked good.
Excellent stroke judges and officiating.
The timing.
Excellent
On
timers.
the boards, right as, it was
Well run meet.
It was so good.
Scoreboard impeccable. Listen, hats off to you. I truly want to give you your kudos and your props for a job well done.
And you know how I felt watching those meets? I felt like, like the feeling we got when we were watching baseball in the country and you were seeing so many young Bahamians participate in that. And then you just had a feeling that we would have like an explosion in a couple of years. Same with basketball, right? That's the feeling I got watching the meets over the weekend. I have a feeling that in about 10, 12 years max from now, we're going to be talking about not many world-class Bahamian swimmers, and I am so excited. I pray that I'm around to see that because that'll be very, very a proud moment for us as Bahamians, I think. I think it's coming. I have a
it's
feeling.
coming. And listen, I'm saying that based on the 11 and 12 or the 12 and under, 10 and under, 8 and under
Killing
group.
it.
Listen, those little shorties was
They
peeling
were
off 50
killing
meters
it.
like water. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Some of the techniques there, I agree to disagree with some of the coaches on the technique, but for the most part, saw some excellent butterflies, excellent backstrokers, some good breaststrokers. Freestyle is freestyle. Once you're fast and you get really good,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of potential there, and I see some with a little bit of work can actually go over the top. So I agree with MJ that in 10 to 15 years, we will see a crop.
Yeah, I expect
a big
that.
time crop of swimmers. And again, we have an excellent water polo program with Coach Loli too. If you happen to be like your 4th fastest in your age group, remember you could be a star water polo player.
You
Just
do
always
something
remember
else.
that.
We're good on the water.
But speaking of props, I got and potholes.
go
I don't want to
ahead.
get too far off.
Okay.
Shout out to our friend of the show, obviously. He debuted here. We predicted it here. F&M ratified candidate for Garden Hills, Rick Fox. Saw the videos over the
I did see
weekend.
that one. I saw
and
that.
shout out to his whole team. Within 12 hours, they had massive potholes patched
That was a big one.
and done. And I see F&M and Gops for it because in 12 hours, it was patched and it was fixed.
And that was a huge pothole.
That was
like
a huge crater, but
crater.
there were several others that were taken care of as well. And I say that to say this. People want the basic infrastructure in life. If you're going to have constituencies, make sure plumbing, electricity, and roads. In New Providence and the Family Islands. Just basic necessities. Then you can build on that, maintain that, build on that, and then you're off and running.
I said Bahamians are good on water, and I was going to pivot to another crazy video that I saw over the weekend, even crazier than how large that pothole was, of the Bahamian fishermen. And I mean, it's alleged they're Bahamian fishermen. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go. For the first time, I think I'm going to agree with the Minister of National Security. I'm not even going
Say
to
what?
comment on that right now because I don't know what I was looking at. I don't know what I saw. I know I have a first instinct about what I saw, but I'm going to wait for more information before I comment on that video because it was quite something. The viral video of the Bahamian fisherman that may or may not have encountered some other fishermen not from this jurisdiction down there by Keysal Bank.
Listen here.
We got to pay attention to that area.
All I know is that Bahamian beat the crack off that Dominican.
I don't know.
He beat the crack out of that Dominican.
I don't know.
I don't know if that was a plumber's crack, a fisherman's crack,
I don't know what was
the
happening.
crack of dawn, the crack of the ocean. But
Gonna
guess
reserve
what?
Comment.
Everything was getting crack on that boy. I mean, full dreadlocks, wrap up, and stay. And then what did it for me? Now, when people can't speak Spanish, they add a O or an A to the end, like go away and stay A from round hero.
Right.
Amigo.
Hero. Yeah.
But that was what you call screamers. If screamers are, that's what screamers
Do
are.
not look that video up.
Well elevated hand, way behind the head, and you could hear it coming down. Hi, what?
Speaking of screamers,
Screamers.
we have some headlines to get to.
It's time for Headliners. Everything that's making headlines in the 242. Brought to you by the Fine Threads.
Here's what's blazing up the pages of the Nassau Guardian News and Views in Madison since 1844. All brought to you by Fine Threads. 15% tariffs on Bahamas exports to U.S.
Ouch.
Trump raises tariffs after U.S. Supreme Court ruling.
Wow. So the Supreme Court rules against the Trump administration in the way that they were administering, or I guess the law, the particular law that they used to administer these tariffs. And then the U.S. president comes right back and hits us with a higher tariff. Like that feels so painful. You know what I mean? So it's gone from 10% to 15%. We'll see. I understand that maybe there may be more legal action, and so maybe there'll be some relief from this. But that 15%, that's going to hit our fishermen that do a lot of exports in terms of seafood,
yeah.
right? That 15% is high. So hopefully we're already in negotiations. I know that the U.S. president wanted to send a message after that Supreme Court ruling. So he's just like, yeah, 15%, everybody. But please, all of our diplomats out there, get to work in Washington and bring that back at least to 10. I mean, 15% is rough, you know?
Ambassador Walker, make a call, Herschel.
Speaking of the Ambassador Walker, I understand that the U.S. government did give us some gifts today, about almost $1 million worth. They gave us a drug incinerator, 6 boat lifts, and 2 handheld drug scanners valued at $839,000. So we appreciate that. Thank you very much,
Ambassador Walker,
for the donation. We'll take that, and we will use that. All of it.
Men rob restaurant and guest.
It's the one that happened out by...
Police are searching for 2 men who robbed a restaurant on Weston Road near the entrance to Life at Key on Saturday night. Police said the robbery happened shortly before 10:30 p.m. 2 masked men entered the restaurant through separate entrances, police said.
Oh, boy.
Upon entry, the suspects reportedly demanded that patrons and employees hand over cash and personal belongings.
Wow. That's not good. Sure, it was unexpected out there.
Judge, transfer of island administrators null and void. In a ruling handed down last week, Supreme Court Judge Carla Card Stubbs found that 5 Family Island administrators were unlawfully transferred from their post within the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs to other government ministries. The claimants were Araminthia Newman, Elizabeth Carley, Ernestine Fernanda, Lorette Marshall, and Carlita Turnquest, and the Bahamas Public Service Union, BPSU.
Yeah.
Another headline, Coughlin to Integra, move supply dock south.
I saw some reporting on this over the weekend. I think they're
He's
continuing
the
to have...
He's the CEO of Turtle Grass Resort and
Right.
Island Club. He's that Bob Coughlin.
Right, the one that was mentioned in Parliament by the DPM. Yeah, we're familiar with who he is. We're familiar with the Integra Group. I'm still listening to what people in Exuma have to say on this particular subject. And of course, the environmentalists. I think Dr. Eric Kerry has talked a lot about this. So that's what I'm doing. I'm listening to what they have to say. I have no expertise on this. I have a feeling about what we should be doing
Well, the full story's
environmentally.
in the Guardian Business.
Right, but
The
I'm listening to them.
Integra presents new site plan at second town hall
The
meeting.
only advice I would give to the gentleman from Integra, because I saw the video and he was very impassioned about his presentation and about what they're going to do and how much they're going to use in terms of dredging as opposed to other areas and other. Yeah, I get it. I understand you want this project to happen. Real word of advice, though. Don't get hype up and start screaming at Bahamians, because that never
That ain't gonna fly
ends.
too
That
tough.
never ends well. Even though you may not have any bad intention, you got to keep it under wraps when you're still in the approval stages. Don't scream at Bahamians. We don't take kindly to that at all.
All right, so we're going to get to the break. We're going to open up the phone lines. And if you want to chime in.
Here's how you can become a talking head. Brought to you by BTC.
Text lines are powered by BTC 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence, 323-6232, 325-4259, 325-4316. Toll free to anyone in the Family Islands, 242-300-5720, 242-300-5720. As we get to the break, like I said, we'll get into the buzz, brought to you by John Shoes. On the flip side of the break, we'll open up the phone lines. Text lines are open.
What are we buzzing on?
Oh, come on.
Concord, Wiltshire, the government, the Grand Lucayan.
Let's talk about the pile of BS in the room, known as the Grand Lucayan. Man, listen. Somebody capping somewhere.
To do it what?
Somebody ain't giving us the whole story somewhere. Somebody is misspeaking. Somebody is straying away from the truth. Somebody is not on the side of facts. However you want me to say it. Something just ain't right in Grand Bahama. And we've been talking about it on this show for years now. And all we've gotten is a mound, a pile, a skyscraper, a Mount Everest of stories. Fallacies, foolishness.
Angle, spin. No. You're listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Never slow my plans up. The show goes on all night till the morning we dream. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the thunder? Just remember when you come up. Show goes on all right.
Bloody Johnny's Restaurant can only be described as the experience you want to recreate again and again and again. Their motto is simple food done well. You're welcome into their home at Naughty Johnny's, where you can dine on crack conch fritters, and other Bahamian favorites. There's also an international flair that's guaranteed to offer something for everyone. Enjoy a good meal and listen to a live band on their patio Friday and Saturday nights, or brunch on Saturday and Sunday. Only at Naughty Johnny's Restaurant in the Old Town Plaza, Old Fort. They're open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday. Naughty Johnny's. Well worth the
Join the Ultra family! Online signups are here, and it's ultra fast. Start winning from your phone. Sign up online in minutes and jump straight into the action at ultragames.com. And right now, when you sign up in February, you're entered for a chance to win a car. That's right, a car. No long lines, no stress. Just click, sign up, and start playing. Ultra Games. Start winning ultra fast. Must be 18 or older. Ultra Games reminds you, it's only a game, so game responsibly.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and binders, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361. Crunch boring real good price with KFC's value deals. For $5.95, you can get a famous bowl and drink or a one-piece chicken box. For max value, grab a value box. That's a piece of our iconic chicken, nuggets, cheesy mashed potato, a buttery biscuit, fries, a dessert biscuit, and soda, all for just $9.95. KFC value deals have got the crunch that you're looking for. KFC knows value, and it's finger-licking good.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Kane is in the building.
Yeah! Alright, already the show dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun up? Just remember when you come up, the show goes on. Alright, alright, it's the show goes on. Right till the morning, we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun up? Just remember when you come up, the show goes on. Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had? Don't that shit that make you mad? They treat you like a slave, put chains all on your soul and put whips up on your back. They be lying through their teeth, hope you slip up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh, put my kicks up on they desk, unaffected by they threats, then get busy on they see, that's how that Chi-Town made me. That's how my daddy raised me. That glittering may not be gold, don't let nobody play me. If you are my homeboy, you never have to pay me. Go on and put your hands up. When times is hard, you stand up.
We're back at you on Monday, February 23rd edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ in your company right up until 6 p.m. We're into the buzz, brought to you, of course, by John Shoes and MJ.
We start with what's happening over there at Carne, because this is this is really exciting. This is more than a dinner. It is actually a culinary event. On February 24th at 7 p.m., Carne welcomes Dario Cecchini. He's going to be on island and in person for an indulgent $300 tasting menu showcasing West Home's nature-led Australian Wagyu. It's for one night only, so if you haven't made your reservations yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. This is going to be a great event. Go ahead and make those reservations right now. And I know Bahamians, we call it like carna because we're carnivores. Yeah. We love meat. If you love meat, delicious tasting, well-aged meat and all of that, this is definitely the event and experience for you. I think it's more than just the food. I think it's going to be the whole experience. It's going to be outstanding. So yes, if this is something that you think you will enjoy, go ahead and make your reservations right now to head on down to Carne on the 24th.
Forget, man, let's celebrate tomorrow. It's 242 Day, all right? Every 24th of February, we celebrate 242 Day, the 24th day of the second month. Show your Bahamian pride. Fly your Bahamian flags, wear Bahamian flag colors, eat Bahamian foods, create and listen to Bahamian music, donate in sequences of 242. All right, do something 242 times. Merchants, consider your pricing. $2.42, $24.20, $242. Let's have fun with it. It's one day a year. It is the 242 Day. All right, Tuesday, February 24th, which is tomorrow. So let's rock out on 242 Day, represent for the 242. Show everybody that there's plenty of us here in the 242. We're proud to be from the 242.
Yeah, it should be a great day. I think, the whole concept of it is such a great idea. Let me clear some of these texts. This text says, LOL, our average is 45% duty tariff. Yeah, that's on this end. And, of course, the U.S., they can't hit us with no 45%. We import just about everything. So there's no trade. There's a trade imbalance, but it's not our side. So I'm just asking, the Trump administration to just bear in mind, we'll say we're a country and we, trying to grow our industries and stuff. Fishing is very important. We were good at 10%. Sorry, sorry you get mad because the Supreme Court says not so fast, Mr. Trump, but you ain't got to hit us with that extra 5%. Like we could do without that for sure. This text says, good day, Naughty and MJ. What's going on with the Grand Ukiah Hotel? Eyewitness News said the deal collapsed. They did indeed. Well, if you're going to be precise, they said it effectively collapsed, right? Because if people getting litigious over reporting, then we got to be real precise about what was said. So, yes, that is one of the things a lot of Bahamians are talking about. Eyewitness News did report earlier today that the proposed $120 million sale of the Grand Ukiah Resort to Concord Group has effectively collapsed, according to, this is important, well-placed sources. Not just sources, well-placed sources.
That's plural, so that means there's more than one.
Well-placed sources who told Eyewitness News the deal had been, quote-unquote, dead for about 4 months after the developer failed to secure financing for its business model. That is a very big claim.
So we've been playing make-believe. We've had like another word.
Well, we don't know.
Another word like Narnia.
We don't know.
Where this alternate universe, the hotel is still up for sale, the money waiting to hit the bank, and we gonna have jobs for Bahamians, and we didn't knock down a portion of the property and rebuild it. It's just like, what are we in? I feel like the
we don't
Twilight
know
Zone music
because
should be playing right now.
There's been so much confusion, and I get that, in deals of this size, there may be some initial confusion. And we understand that this hotel is supposed to be developed in phases, but you can't have confusion from the government side throughout all the phases, right? Like
Confusion or misspeaking or bad information. I mean, what is it?
We have to have
You know
clarity.
for full well for 4 months that those workers were going to
Well,
end
we
up
don't
going
know the allegation.
allegedly.
Based on what I witnessed.
All right.
I thought it was interesting that when there was initial pushback by the office of the Prime Minister, I think the communications director, Mr. Latrell Raming, he tweeted out that they were incorrect on the facts. And then Eyewitness News came back and said, nope, we stand by our reporting. And then they actually had some.
But didn't
They actually.
MP Kwesi Thompson had to shut him down in a press release before pertaining to the surplus? Haven't we seen the OPM shut down? It turned out not to be the facts.
If we're focused on just this, because it's very particular
My
set of
question
claims.
is, who do we believe from this administration?
But the question then becomes, we're getting reporting from a reputable news source. You're getting pushback, rightfully so, if it's not the case from the office of the Prime Minister. They got to look at it. And then they say that they are standing by it. This was an interesting caveat that Eyewitness News put with their story. It says, if there has been a material update, we welcome that information that clearly outlines the current status of the deal. That is what they said as a part of their pushback, right? We later got a press release. Well, I think we got 2 press releases today. The first one was, I don't know who put that together, but between the spelling mistakes and the whole sentences that made no sense, I'm going to assume that was a mistake. No, I don't know who put it out, but we'll put that on the side for now. Then a second press release was out there, and it still is quite clear that most of the concerns addressed in the original reporting were not spoken to. Material updates. I mean, they could say, okay, well, we gave you a material update. No dates, no dates, no firm. And they were really pushing back hard. I think Concord Wiltshire was. They obviously took umbrage, or someone took umbrage for them with the original reporting from Eyewitness News. But there were so many questions that were still unanswered in their press release. They didn't answer us about permitting. They didn't answer us about timeline, just a vague in 2 weeks. They didn't say whether or not the hotel was sold. They also, needed to be more clear. Their press release talked about ongoing discussions about what?
Sounded like when you make that call, hey, I need you to vouch for me on this one.
Remember now, the sources that Eyewitness News is relying on, and I'm going to assume that they vetted those sources, they would know whether they would know about this deal in detail before you put something out there like this, right? I would say that the professionals over there.
Not only do I think they did their due diligence on this, I think
you would think,
and I'm not going to elaborate too tough on it, but I think this was a strategic move on their behalf too, and if not directly from them, from the powers that be.
So the original article itself raised several questions. It talked about the deal being collapsed. It talked about Concord Wiltshire not being able to secure, other partners, and, that's why they would say the deal is basically dead. It actually said that the government themselves had been looking for maybe others to partner with. There's a lot happening in that original article.
But what didn't happen is $122 million hit the bank, Bahamians being taken care of, Bahamians not being laid off, being placed in the future at other properties or other portions of the resort. None of that happened.
That
was fiction.
Serious.
That wasn't true.
The payout about the staff, and we talked about this last week, but let me just focus on this, and we're going to pivot to the human. But my grandma, I'm a lawyer who called me. That's why I get impassioned with the people, right? More so than the deal, but having
that's what really has me irked on this.
But
the fact that you can do stuff like that, leave them in limbo for so long.
If we take the second, not the first, I don't know who wrote that. They need to go back to they went back to the drawing board. The second press release that apparently came from Concord Wiltshire, if we take that into consideration, it still didn't answer. And this is really what you needed to answer, so there would be no doubt. It didn't answer if they had secured the financing. That's a line in a press. That's
That
one
you need
sentence.
to have in
We
there.
got the money, babes. We got it. Don't worry about it. We got this. We got the money. They didn't say that. They didn't say whether or not the deal itself, the $120 million acquisition, whether that is closed. We don't know. We still don't know. It didn't talk about when demolition would begin, just a vague, in 2 weeks, we will tell you again something. What? I don't know. It didn't tell us whether
I bet
or
you
not.
2 weeks can come and go and ain't nothing coming out of this.
And if you're trying to convince us that, hey man, 2 weeks y'all gonna see some big things, then you need to tell us, not only do we have the financing, we already got the permits. This a go.
4.5 years, they couldn't get it done now. In 2 weeks, they can get it done.
This is a go. We have all of the permits. We ironed out everything. And then, there was some, allusion to about the cruise resorts and stuff, which is a whole other kettle of fish, because I thought the purpose of this particular redevelopment was to encourage more stopover visitors to the island of Grand Bahama. And I don't know if that island is going to have more stopover visitors based on this deal. It's just a question that's in the air. Is this going to be another glorified cruise port? Because stuff like that would stuff like that, finances and risk assessments. What are you doing here? Is this just like another little thing for the cruise port? What are we doing in terms of these hotels, these resorts you're calling it? Although I feel like resort has a very specific definition, and I'm not sure that this plan even meets it anymore at this point. But I need some more concrete answers. That's where we're at. And I think it's telling that even a government response these days is not sufficient for Bahamians to believe. You have the Office of the Prime Minister, and this is telling you about trust, right? Office of the Prime Minister saying Eyewitness News is incorrect, but people like, nope, you got to show me more. We don't believe you.
Let me get to some of the text. Naughty and MJ, who owns Eyewitness News? Question mark, question mark, question mark. You picked up on it, text. You ain't too, yeah. I still think that might be a strategic move. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Have you noticed all of a sudden in 2026 there's now a cure for cancer and some other diseases? I pray to God that we find a cure for the PRP liabilities.
Keep going. Just keep going.
Oh, it's the PRP's liabilities. My
keep
bad.
Going.
No, but I mean, really, I look at the workers. I mean, you had 279 Bahamians.
That are about to be relieved of their
duties. And you know this for over 4 months, allegedly. If the report is
that it's been dead, that the deal has been dead, that it's been collapsed for
4 months.
Let's raise some. And I am really
trying. There's the humanitarian side of that.
I am really trying, because I'm inclined to believe that at some point the government understands the importance of being open and transparent with Bahamians, with all of us. I'm trying to follow their reasoning, but there's also this question of the mold that was just thrown in our face into the equation last week. Like, where did that come from? Why were you laying the groundwork for like another pivot in terms of this story? Anyway, let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Mother sick, man, MJ, man.
Mother sick. What is happening? I just
was going to go tell Naughty how much more intelligent and sensible his wife is making him sound when the two of y'all together.
Could y'all stop?
Naughty, and MJ, you go on right there and remind the entire general public just now that I did then forget. We know we got short-term memory, MJ.
We do. A lot happens.
Then forget they just tell us week before last the problem was mold. I forgot that, MJ. The focus just now. Because, Naughty, what I was calling to remind you, if it means anything, don't forget. I hear everybody just think liar, pants on fire, or whether it was 4 months ago or 4 months ahead from now that the dealing and make no sense or not. But what I want to remind us is that, remember, it wasn't until the day that the information was being tabled in the House of Parliament by a particular minister that we found out, that we, the general public, found out that the Barmsey building had no insurance. Nobody knew that prior to that morning, prior to that night before, or at any point in time doing all the other checks and balances. No one knew that. The word was that the building is insured. And so maybe, just maybe, we're dealing with the same characters.
Yeah, we need to do a little better. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you. Let's go to the other callers. Talking Heads.
Hi, yes, how you doing?
Hi.
MJ?
Hey, how you doing, C. Allen?
The mayor of Grand Bahama, the real mayor.
There you go.
Oh,
One of them. We got a couple.
what I can tell you is the press releases.
Oh,
Okay.
I haven't seen the third one. Okay.
Right. No, the one with some mistakes. Then they recall it, release another one. These came like 10 minutes. These like rapid release
Rapid fire.
thing. Right. They released one at 106 and 27 seconds by the atomic clock. Right.
What?
And then
And
you
then
go
the next
to,
one.
I can tell you the computer's in the place. The same computer that created the first two is what did all the government other press releases going back to 2022.
Ooh.
The same thing. The meta tag is exactly identical.
Interesting.
Then when you look at the data in the third one, they went to an old machine, a machine that takes you back to around 2007. Now, I would like to believe that public relations firm don't run until then, but maybe found some old computers and old software they were using. So essentially, as we spoke about the metadata on the show,
right?
They say they tell them go to another machine. It doesn't matter because what also happens they don't understand is there is also sometimes an IP stamp that's in documents. There's a lot in documents. We're in the 21st century, and a lot of people don't even understand what we do, like the Ring cameras and all those other things.
Right.
Just remember, 98% of what you think about technology has not been revealed to you.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
know. But
Oh,
on
okay.
this point about what was stated in the release, we're gonna go with the second one since that was the one without the errors. What are your thoughts on that, C. Allen? You're there on the ground in Grand Bahama. What do you think?
Okay, let's look at what they said. A couple of points in that one concerning two major cruise line resorts, right?
Right.
We already have one destination resort, Celebration Key. We had another one announced by MSC, a credible one announced by MSC for Billy Key.
Okay.
Right. So that only leaves to two. There's only four of the major cruise line, right? That actually comes here. So that only leaves the other two. Now the problem with that is that one of the other two is already committed to Xanadu, and we knew Xanadu was somewhat dead. Those of us in Grand Bahama that actually follows, the breadcrumbs.
Is Xanadu
right?
the one that RCL is thinking about?
RCI, right?
RC, right.
Right now, RCI
Right,
goal
RCI.
was to do the co-development of the harbor company, the Freeport Harbor Company that runs the harbor. But the problem with that was that after Trump and the other people put pressure on Hutchison Whampoa and they moved to say they can buy these assets, MSC, which is a 50% shareholder or some asset holder in the container port, also would end up having some management agree. So RCI would then move from a minority holder to a major holder, actually a complete owner of the Freeport Harbor Company. So they would not, as one of the major competitors, they would not lease the harbor to their competitor to develop their harbor for them and lock them out of their harbor. So when MSC moves towards that, you knew right then and there the RCI deal was dead.
Mm-hmm.
So then comes this announcement, right? And mind you, Norwegian Cruise Line, the fourth one, usually just comes to Grand Bahama on days that they have bad days, stopover or whatever. And so you would have to assume that they when they talk about these two other major cruises, they talk about these other two because there's only four. So then comes the question, if these two going over there, then who's going to be developing the Xanadu property?
That's interesting. I did hear the name Disney bantered about last week, I think. You don't recall that? That was one of the names. But they didn't tell us anything. This press release, they really should have, they missed an opportunity here to say, listen, all of that talk y'all hearing is absolutely not true because this is the case. We got financing. These are the partners. Talking about 2 weeks, that what's going to change in 2 weeks?
But here's the problem you have. This deal is not a single company deal.
No, many moving parts. Moving parts.
Absolutely. And so for those of us that know it's in Grand Bahama, we know it's the Grand Bahama Yacht Club. We know it's the Grand Bahama Marina. We know it's the Grand Bahama Marketplace. We know it's the empty lot that's owned by...
with different owners, right? We're talking about different owners for these...
Absolutely, with competing interests.
Different interests.
Competing interests in each of them. And so you have to actually come and bring them all, and you have to bring them all together. Then there is some bitter blood among people who are supposed to come together, because some other people lost $1 million or $2 million or a couple $1 million based on one of the people in it who now says we should be friends and bring this together. And so the question would be like, how would you recompensate me? And so the question then be like, would these individual people give up the assets? Like, who control the actual? Some people have rights, and some people have control of the actual the marina that actually comes there. Then in this, if you look at the deal, you have some EIA that has to happen. You have a 1 mile swipe across a golf course leading to a place at another development has arrived. So here's this development building multi-million-dollar homes, and the only way to open up the canal to where they want to connect it to the canal would be inside of one of the multi-million-dollar homes.
A lot of this DIA, a lot of this is time consuming, right? Like some of these things don't. I thought when we had that big party last year in Grand Bahama that this was the work that was being done in the background before we got to this big announcement and with this particular price tag on it. Like it seems that none of that has happened.
Right. So how do you come to the price tag when you haven't ironed the details of property acquisition and transfer and approval that has to go through, nor an assessment? Because so these are just like conceptual and a guess, because this is no easy feat. And I think it was a grandiose deal that is not going to happen. Because even when you look at the fact that you now want to make this a destination for 2 cruise ships, so you must ask MSC to change their development to accommodate 2 mega cruise ships. So what happens then, the conversation has always been about tendering offshore, which then again changes the dynamics of what has to happen offshore, whether it be for tendering or to build docks the way Celebration Key does.
Yeah, so it's a lot.
It's a lot to digest.
But you know what? But you know what's simple. So let's say that the deal is complex, like you said, a lot of different owners, a lot of different interests. Some of them are competing. But you know what is really simple? Honesty and accountability. This is where we're at, because notwithstanding everything else that's happening, we know now that 279 Grand Bahamians going home.
Which is
that's
because
real
what
simple.
happens is, now, let me tell you something. They're not going home because of this deal, They're going home because the government of the Bahamas cannot afford to carry any more financial load. This is why people could expect an early election in May, because the government cannot promise a surplus of $75 million and show up on the table based on my calculated estimate, and I don't guess, of about $1.2 billion in debt. So do you know the difference between say you have $75 million in your pocket and owing $1.2 billion?
Yeah, big difference. It's a big difference.
Okay,
Thank you.
So this is why what you have is these bumbling efforts, and even just use the airport as an example. You first have the polycon that nobody can find anywhere in the world. Then you come back and say that the management is going to happen by Manchester Group. But then in that slight thing, you said we're going to be moving money from the Saudi group,
right, to the airport in Freeport.
Yeah, and now we got to bring them
that amount doesn't equal the $130 million that you said will happen. So where's this extra money coming from in regards to that?
We don't know. That's all.
Good stuff, C. Allen. Appreciate you.
Thank you, C. Allen.
Got to get to the break, but good stuff as always, man. I always like to hear from C. Allen. Let me check a couple of these texts. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I hope you all are well. Please remind all Bahamians to register campaigning in Lent, but they're partying and campaigning straight. Please tell Zane Lightman to remove the PRP decorated vehicle from Nassau East entrance. It is an eyesore. Ask him when last he had his team tackle the broken down swings and benches on the park.
I don't like those cars that they dress up, and it just is all parties and then park it, on public land to be seen. Like, what's the point of that? Please move it. It is an eyesore, no matter what the party colors are.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I remember the PM did not claim that mold infestation was the reason for the delay. He hypothetically threw out a non-specific comment like, who knows, it could be mold.
He said
but he never committed to the delay being definitively caused by mold.
They said that...
As usual, PM Davis was stalling and buying time.
Yeah, and this is why... And, we shouldn't have to do this, right? Like, we have to parse the language at this point because everyone wants to say, I'm not lying, I'm not misleading, I'm not deceiving. Look at what I said, and then sometimes you look at what's said and you can see where, they could kind of get a little bit of a loophole out of it. Why should it be like that? Why should it be that, we have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb just to see if you were lying, or if you were just kind of misleading. It's terrible. Just say to Bahamians, this is what's happening. The hotel is sold. The Concord Builder, who won't be the builders, but look like glorified project managers that are going to be facilitating all of this, maybe come in and deal with the financing. That's, I guess, their role. Say that they have secured the financing. Say that they have gotten X amount of permits. Why all of this cloak and dagger over something that is this far along? I'm inclined to believe that there's something there in terms of this deal. Did it collapse and was resuscitated, or is now being resuscitated?
How is it being resuscitated? By what means?
I don't know, but it's not hard. I'm just telling you, the communications team down there at OPM, it is not difficult at all for Bahamians to believe this is a dead deal. So if you want to kind of disabuse us of that line of thinking, you got to come with some concrete facts, not these vague public relations releases that still don't answer the core questions we have about this deal. Do you have the financing today, February 23rd, 2026? You announced it in May of last year. What is happening with the staff? 279, we understand, are going to be laid off. Remember, you made a big promise right after the big announcement that you were going to honor the staff and they're going to be compensated and they're going to be retained and, as long as they're available for call. What happened to all of that? No response on that. Mum's the word on all of that. But you're mad because the news reported it may have collapsed.
ChatGPT says Eyewitness News in the Bahamas is owned by ILTV Studios. ILTV Studios is a Bahamian media production company founded and operated by Clint Watson, who also serves as principal and anchor and executive figure as an executive figure within the Eyewitness News. ChatGPT.
ChatGPT getting this information from.
Somebody programmed chat wrong on that one.
Y'all gotta stop.
Naughty and MJ, this
boy.
administration has a consistent pattern of misspoke, deception, multiple stories, and blatant lies. You don't know what to believe. It started when they promised to reduce VAT by 2%, never telling us they would add 10% across the board.
Yeah, that's that read the fine print kind of. And I get it. This is real life. We're adults. We expect things will not be smooth sailing for everything. But we're not being treated as adults. We're being treated as children who can't understand for us the deal collapsed because of this, or if you said as the deal isn't collapsed because we secured the financing, so all that talk is crazy talk. It'll be really straightforward and easy for us to form like an opinion that's based on facts. But right now, we basing it on misspelled press releases, and bad sentences in press releases. Like, who are we supposed to believe? And it's sad that you can't just say, believe the government.
Let me get these in. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Naughty and MJ. Love this show. MJ, please tell Mr. Bain to let you be their leader and Naughty the deputy. Our first female PM should be you, MJ.
You guys.
I agree with that, but we got to work on a different party.
Stop playing.
Please note the election will not happen until after June unless, question mark. I see a texter. MJ and Naughty, chaos and confusion with everything the New Day government has put their hands on. All of this will cause a low voter turnout whenever election is called.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think people are fed up this time.
Go register.
Get out there and register to vote.
Register. Please register to vote.
And if you've been registered, verify. And if you're registered and you're verified and you've been sitting down saying, "Boy, this don't make no sense" for the last 2 cycles, get up off your vungie and vote. Because at the end of the day, the country you save may very well be your own.
It will be if you voted, yeah. I still have to verify. I mean, I was put on the permanent register, so I have to take my purple card and go somewhere and verify again. I thought that was the whole point of the permanent register was to avoid all of that. Still got to do it again?
Again. MJ and Naughty, the PM is afraid to tell the people the truth about the hotel. Election is definitely near. Naughty, we in Freeport are the conch. We'll change the cycle, Freeport. ChatGPT is correct on the beginning of ILTV. Don't believe what is marketed to you. Clint was also one of the 2 PLP that started COI. ILTV being owned and financed and being organized as all kind of stuff.
All kind
today.
of allegations. All right, we're going to
call us. We'll get to you in the 5 o'clock.
We're going to take a quick break here for the news. You're listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM with Naughty. Yours truly, Mary Jane. We will be right back.
Kids that's living in the ghetto that the pulling back that the world is theirs. Yeah, the world is yours.
Forget them flower, forget them check. You know it's Tommy get the respect. AP is hot, we sitting close. Degrees on your lip, that's how I know. You is my person, that ain't no secret. You share wing, I might keep it. Love buckets.
8 tasty pieces of chicken, thighs and legs for just $20. Add a large side for $5. This February, love deserves a bucket. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Kane is in the building.
Yeah! Alright, the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder?
We're back at you on the Monday, February 23rd edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. We're into the 5 o'clock hour. 5:06 p.m. is the time. And a little FYI for you, man, as you're heading home, don't forget Burger King got the King Meal deal going on for you, $5.50. Choose your favorite. You got the Rodeo Burger Jr., the Rodeo Crispy Chicken Jr., or the 6-piece nuggets. They come along with the fries and a soft drink, only $5.50 VAT included. Check them out on that for sure. Also, as you head home, don't forget KFC Nassau doing big things with the crunchy deals. The value box is going on. Be sure to check them out, $9.95. You get your chicken, your nuggets, your biscuits, your dessert biscuit, your cheesy mashed potatoes, your fries, your soft drink. It's fully loaded. So be sure to check them out on the way home as well, too. Let them do the cooking for you. It's always finger-licking good. Texters, I'll get to you right now. Callers, you can chime back in. They'll get to you. MJ and I will talk on this for a little bit. We will talk sports this hour as well, too. So all the sports aficionados, relax.
Still wearing my black and white today, right? You know what that means. Yeah.
Spurs, baby.
Spurs.
All right, Naughty and MJ, this is a galling government. I will call Rodney for Clint and Kingsley for the PM. Well, listen, in the spirit of Rodney, I'll tell you, as a long-time PLP, having voted 7 times, I am very distraught about the direction this administration is going. I'm very distraught that they can't even get a press release out on this Al-Lucayan situation. I mean, it's very embarrassing. Hi, Naughty and MJ. Random question. Who are the organizers of the True Bohemian Festival, and when is they coming back on deck? 242 Day.
I don't know.
You know who organized that, Mr. Producer? The True 242 Festival?
If anyone knows, let us know so we could answer that.
If not, we'll have an answer for you by tomorrow.
242 Day.
There you go. So, yeah. Now, God. I'm going to let you present this.
Well,
because when I heard those numbers, it was staggering. I'm still in awe when we look at this from start to finish,
What are we
here
talking
we are
Grand
with
Grand
Cayenne.
It's a
Dear
lot.
God.
It's a lot. I mean,
And I want to comment on it at the end.
This is a long journey.
But
and
those numbers you need to share, that's crazy.
We're still not at the end of this journey with the Grand Cayenne. We all know that the government got the Grand Cayenne. They acquired it in 2018. We paid $65 million for the Grand Cayenne. At the time, we were told that it was temporary. We were told that it was strategic jobs, and we were told that it was necessary. Now, 8 years later, we've spent about $130 million maintaining it.
Let me just interject this one point. The PLPs that like to try to sell, and especially the chairman, the whole stop, review, and cancel boogeyman, this is a clear example of hypocrisy, because this was clearly another case of when the PLP has stopped, reviewed, and canceled in their own right, and it has left manure over everybody's
You're talking
face
about the deal
and the
that
entire
was
island of Grand
on
Bahama.
the table that the
Correct.
Deputy Prime Minister said was not in the best interest. So we spent about $130 million since 2018 to now maintaining the Grand Cayenne. Bear in mind, we're being told that it is now mold infested, okay? Bear that in mind. We are about to spend about $17 million terminating, firing 279 workers. When we heard the deal back in May, we were told that these employees were going to be treated so much differently than they have actually been treated. You talk about trust, you talk about credibility. They have not been treated the way that we were told they were going to be treated. And we'll deal with that. But let's get to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, MJ Naughty, what's happening?
Hey.
What's happening?
You would believe the Prime Minister word should mean something, eh?
It must mean something.
When the Prime Minister says something, we should not have to question. We should not have to think about it. We should be able to take it to the bank. But with this one, I'm not too sure. I don't feel too confident in anything he says anymore.
I would love to hear from the Prime Minister on this, specifically in light of the reports from Eyewitness News. I think it's time we heard from the Prime Minister
A
directly
national
on
address
this.
is in order for sure.
Directly.
And in response to Sea Island, I'm sure you understood the complications and the people surrounding the different properties around that.
I know them well.
That hotel deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is the same situation with the International Bazaar.
Oh,
you have multiple owners from multiple parts of the world who own that, and the problem is getting these owners
Now,
together.
let me ask you a quick
figure.
question, caller, because I want to touch base on the hypocrisy of this administration. Wasn't that the same bazaar that 4.5 years ago, or maybe 5 years ago, PLP chairman at the time, who's now the current PLP chairman, F&M for Fox Hill, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fred Mitchell, pontificated on numerous videos that the bazaar had to be taken care of. The F&M wasn't doing anything, but 4.5 years later, is it not in worse state than it was 5 years ago?
Well, let me take you back a little further. A couple of years ago, Gregory Morse, the former MP for Marco City, he stood on the platform and said that road at the International Bazaar, that's the chokehold for businesses in Grand Bahama, and that therefore needs to be opened. And we know that's been about, 3 elections ago?
Yeah.
Road still ain't open yet.
Been a long time.
So, and that is the same bazaar. I remember when the Minister of Grand Bahama first came in. Remember when they tore down the Tory Gate?
Yep.
So that's some kind of omen to the success of Grand Bahama?
Right.
Well, what changed?
Boy, looked like Shaky put some VAD talisman on himself when he did that, eh?
Thank you so much, caller.
Anyway, I'll hang up and continue to listen.
Thank you so much, caller.
Real quick, the PLP, Naughty and MJ, the PLP had a free get out of jail free card with their Grand Cayenne hotel deal that Minister administration left on the table. All they had to do is tell the people we are not in the business of stopping cancel and let the minister deal play out. But through their arrogance, they canceled it and left with egg on their face. But I ain't know about no egg because the Golden Yoke ain't producing no eggs. So I know where to get egg from.
And would be, and still will be happy if something actually happens with this deal. The part of it that I said that kind of galls me a little bit is the treatment of the staff.
Correct.
Right? They've been in limbo. And that's why I'm kind of hoping this reporting is not 100% on, because you know what it's like to be going all these months. The government knows this deal is basically on life support. And we could quibble about whether it is or it isn't. But if you've known in the way that you presented it to look and you said nothing and you allow these persons to continue hoping. I was doing a little bit of research and I recalled, because I had a conversation on Friday. Remember one of the listeners says, oh, maybe they'll still do this. But let's take it back a little bit. let's remember how this thing was laid out. The same gentleman that's quoted in the press release from Concord, Wiltshire today, Mr. Richard Bosworth, was the one that gave a report to our news saying, under the guise that they had already bought the hotel now. See,
Correct.
This is May 18th, 2025. Under the guise, he talked about how they're going to be...
Heck, it almost May 2026.
How they're going to be treating staff and they're going to be compensating them. Mr. Bosworth, is on the record saying this, as if this was going to happen from the Concord Wiltshire side of the deal. Now we're learning taxpayers, after we've pumped about $230 million into this, including these upcoming payouts and possible demolition. Now we realize that we're the ones that are going to have to pay the staff. So let's listen to this report from May of 2025. This is right after the big party. This is how Mr. Bosworth, who was in that press release today, this is how he talked about how they were going to handle the staff at the Grand Lucayan.
Well, as the Grand Lucayan Resort is now our Resort Gaming and Hotel Division CEO, Richard Bosworth, telling us the company will provide compensation packages for employees as the resort moves to redevelopment. The Davis administration signed a heads of agreement in grand style with executives from the U.S.-based company amid much fanfare just days ago. Bosworth says credit must be given to the employees who kept the resort going all this time.
We need to be sure that those team members that have worked and sustained this property during this time period are well cared for and taken care of. That includes a compensation program for them as we begin the construction and the demolition, and also an open recall so they can come back into their positions at those seniority levels. We need to honor those team members.
Your most important resource, your human resource. Did we get any mention of the employees in that press release today? Did we say, hey, and also, we will want them available for recall. We will compensate them. Did Concord Wiltshire say that in their press release today? See, it's a lot that you can put, but they say paper, let anybody write anything on it, all that kind of stuff. But where is the actions to back up what you sold us back in May? You said that you, the company, or the news report intimated that it would be Concord Wiltshire. Now we're learning it's not. It's going to be us, Bahamian taxpayers, that have to pay out these severance payments. And you talked about honoring the staff. The staff went for big chunks of weeks at a time last year without even getting their salaries. Some of them went over Christmas, didn't even get their pay. Is this honoring this? Like, we're looking at the government sideways. I'm also looking at Concord Wiltshire sideways because y'all made some promises too. Say what you want. You were up there with our government making promises
Both
to the Bahamian people as well, saying you were going to do X, Y, and Z. And now you want to get upset at reporting, which is your right, especially if it is not based in fact. You absolutely have that right to push back against eyewitness news. But bring us some concrete details. You know, it's very insulting for you to then say, oh yeah, we're going to have something else to say in 2 weeks. How long has it been?
4.5 years.
What's going to happen between now and 2 weeks? You can't say
Nada.
that you can't say now. Like, don't play us for fools, okay?
And
don't play. This is an election season. We understand the sensitivity of this particular project and about how this looks. We get it, but don't play us for fools.
And listen, let me borrow a page out of your homegirl Greta Sustren's book.
Greta Thunberg.
I mean.
How dare you?
How dare you? And I'm talking to the PM right now and this whole entire administration. How dare you?
Don't play us.
Allow Bahamians to suffer 279 and more at large, but indirectly with this Grand Lucayan deal. How dare you? When we see you catering openly and courting foreign nationals and recruiting and catering to them, and you letting Bahamians suffer? Suffer. 279 went home with nothing for Christmas. Into March, through January and February, two of the toughest months of the year, nothing. No relief, not even a damn honest answer. Not just an honest answer. If not compensation, if not salary, if not anything, just an answer. Hey, this is where we're at. This is the truth. This is how long it's going to take for you to get paid, and we're working feverishly to get this done. We dropped the ball on this. We understand talks, especially Grand Bahama. We are about getting this solved. That's the least you could have done. But no, you send them home with no answer, no pay, no nothing. And on the heels of everything now, have the audacity to turn around and say, you're not going home for good. Well, how am I supposed to feel about that? Am I going to get my compensation? You didn't take care of me prior to the Christmas, so why do I believe I'm going to be straight now?
It's very,
Listen,
very hard.
this administration has dropped the ball on me. This administration has fumbleitis, all right? If this was a running back, this administration should be benched based on fumbling. But my God, this one right here, and there's been a myriad of fumbles during the 4.5 years of this administration, but this fumble right here, if this alone is not reason for a cut-in, you need to cut it. I mean, you fumble this much, this boldly, you got to get cut.
There's a deeper,
it's ridiculous.
Based on even Concord Wiltshire's press release, there's a deeper structural question that we have to ask, right? Because it seems like they went out there to get partners, financing partners, and they're going to tell us, they say they got a big announcement. I'm praying to God that announcement is, yes, we can say we for sure have the financing. It's secured. It's done. We're ready to move. That would be so much better. Then you have to explain to us what you're going to do with the staff, right? But it would be good to know that you have the financing. That'll make things a lot easier to kind of stomach for a while until we get the ball rolling. But I am now concerned, and I hope that we can get an answer to this. I'm now concerned whether or not this stopover model for Grand Bahama is structurally broken, in this current cruise-denominated ecosystem. I am wondering
Just give the whole island of Grand Bahama to the cruise ships, and then let's go from there.
I'm wondering if what their partners and financiers is problematic. The structure itself, if it's a doomed or failing structure.
And coming in to do business in that market, it would make potential investors a little dubious and a little leery getting things done here, because look how all of this is dragging out.
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty and MJ, good afternoon.
Hey, Jeff.
What's happening, Jeff?
It is so many. I mean, I sat here and listened to you two, and all I could have done if I could have shaken my head anymore, it would have been off my neck. Here it is. You talk about the cruise industry where we have allowed cruise liners to own islands, our keys in our country. Grand Bahama cried that since that entity came there, a lot of persons do not even come into Freeport proper,
right,
or really into any of the settlements proper like that, except the tour operators who drive the buses, transport them from point to point B. They be getting a lion's share of the business. Grand Bahama really is the linchpin for the success of the entire Bahamas. We've been saying that for quite some time now, for numerous reasons. You talk about the fumbling. The fumbling is beyond fumbling. It's almost like it's a deliberate attempt to really sabotage the Bahamian people and this country, because for the ineptitude that we see going on right now in this nation, where we are supposed to be functioning almost at 120%. We are right now functioning as if we are only like 30, 40%. And it's really crazy. The last point here that I'm going to make is simply this. You talk about the last 4 years, but yet they're asking for another term to come into office. The Deputy Prime Minister, up until recently, was saying that they really want a second chance to not allow the opposition to come into power, because it will stop, review, and cancel all of the success that they have done. But when I look at the success column and I look at the failure column, it seems as if the failure column has actually taken precedence over the success column. And when you start talking like this, pointing out the facts for what they are, and the numbers just don't add up from them all the time, then it just leaves a lot to be desired. So let's see what the press secretary is going to come up with to stabilize and convince the Bahamian people that the government has done all it could have done in transparency and accountability to the Bahamian people, to say that they really put the money really was in the bank, not just for this project, for the Alukaya project as well. But thanks for taking my call out.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff, Jeff.
$130 million to maintain it. $17 million. That's what we're going to be paying out in severance. That's approximate. We never get exact figures. And then there's a fare that there's going to cost us another $20 million to demolish it. That comes to about $230 million, almost $250 million. And what do we have to show for it? What do we have to show for it? And could we have gotten a better deal, much cheaper for the Bahamian people over these past 8 years.
All right, couple of questions off the text lines. First and foremost, good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Naughty slide on the side. This one is for MJ. Naughty, MJ, I know you've seen the press release. Is that a real press release? And if it is, what is the timeline for the airport, in your opinion?
Okay, I have it right in front of me. So the first press release is not, the first press release, the one that was complained about that came out with no letterhead. I have sent out press releases. I've seen press releases. Sometimes they come without a letterhead because they go through what's called a PR wire. So it's possible that it would look like this. That's because the receiving party and the sending party are familiar with each other. So they know, well, this comes from so-and-so. You may not necessarily see a letterhead. This stood out to me. The first one that was sent out, the word resort is spelled wrong. That's very small, right? That's with a big company like that, but it shouldn't happen. The second thing was this sentence here that stood out in the first press release. It said, quote, further, Concord Wilshire appreciates the Office of the Prime Minister clarification earlier today in disputing the inaccurate and false statements of the Office of the Prime Minister. Like what? What? You appreciate them pointing out them lying? Like, what are we trying to say? So that was obviously an error because they later corrected it to say Eyewitness News. As for the second press release, I will tell you they do have a named media contact there. And again, and this is where we have to be playing detectives, right? I would think that if someone falsely put out a press release and attributed it to a $1 billion company, as they purport to be, you would not be looking here at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the day
saying if this is a real press release.
It's real. Because a $1 billion company going to make sure everybody know, listen, we didn't put that out, okay?
Naughty and MJ, do you know that if that press release supposedly released by Concord Ritchie was actually written by someone in the government and possibly the OPM, which many of us believe that they did? If so, that is a criminal offense. Makes Minnis-Oban debacle look like child's play.
So I will say this again for that first press release. I don't know who wrote it. The second press release, I don't know who wrote that one either, but we know that there is a PR firm on the record saying that they're responsible for it. So you can make of that as you will.
Naughty and MJ, why do you think BPL 3,000 plus documents and pages were recently released? Was it a distraction of explosive news? Or is it
a chance to start looking at it? I was able to download the files that were in that document dump from BPL. I've seen some of it. I'm going to do my best analysis of it. And once I've gone through all of it, I will tell you guys what I think. I'll give you the cliff notes as I see it when I've done that. But the only thing I would say is this, though. When you do document dumps, BPL, I mean, global best practices is to, as best you can, not include the names of your customers and their addresses. I was scanning through the document dumps, and I saw that several pages had names of customers as well as their addresses. That is not standard. That should have been redacted. I don't know why you thought it was appropriate to do that. Let's try to avoid that moving forward.
Let's get this call in. Talking Heads.
A pleasant good evening, my brother.
Hey, what's going on, Sparky?
You know, hold on. That's a big German Shepherd just bark. She in the bar, I in the van. Hey, Naughty, I am sitting on top of off Prince Charles Drive and right in the front of the Seventh Adventist Church. You know where I'm at, right?
Right. In the van on top of the
industry.
Right.
Naughty. This is what they call the silly season in the Bahamas. Naughty, there's certain people that call talk shows, they could talk till they run out of breath. When Sparky called.
Did we lose Sparky?
Sparky, what happened?
See, he's under the tree.
Under the tree.
So, I don't know which.
It sounds like he's doing well under the tree, too. I think some brown bottles are close.
No, I think the location maybe. Sorry, Sparky, we lost you.
Naughty and MJ, we've been subsidizing the hotel years before the 2017 election. Go and see 2 months before the 2017 election that the now owners of the Goldwyn was going to buy the hotel from PGC, Perry Gladson Christie. Why would PGC be seeking to sell a hotel that was owned by Hutchinson? Question mark, question mark. Are they trying to distract us from the BPL deal?
Well, I mean, Listen, I don't know, but one thing I know, we're not, the Prime Minister said we can't be lazy and we got to go look it up. So we got the document dump. We'll get to it.
Naughty and MJ, the Prime Minister said that we must trust him under these conditions. How can we? The mistrust is already there. Remember the comedy talk show about Miss Liar? Oh, Miss Liar, really tell me so amazing.
What?
I don't know about a comedy talk show called Miss Liar, but obviously we'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
MJ, you are great with your assessment. That might have come from the office of the Prime Minister, but I don't think so. It could be a political troll.
I would hope not. The first press release. Now, mind you, the first press release and the second press release, some of the paragraphs were identical. So I don't know. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why that company, maybe they put it out quickly and had all those errors. Why would you be under that constraint though? Did you get pressure to quickly release that? Why it had those errors
rushed.
in it? It's just like that shouldn't happen. Like we shouldn't do business like that. Like it's a question of competence and getting things done, properly.
Company must pay those employees. They made a commitment to the employees and the Bahamas. We must call that company out ASAP. Naughty and MJ, why is it so difficult to tell the truth? I don't know why is it so difficult to tell the truth, especially with this administration.
And I think I want a lot of, and this is maybe a good time to say it, and I want a lot of politicians to understand. I know that, you're afraid of losing control of the narrative. You're afraid that people will say certain things. But I think that it's important to understand that being honest with the Bahamian people is more important than whatever it is you think you're trying to do. You will earn a trust, and you could bank that trust so that in moments like this, when you need to spend some of that trust, you got it to spend.
Correct.
But if you ain't banking no trust, you just building up debt, now it's time to spend some of that money because you want people to trust you. You do. Every government wants to be trusted because once you lose trust, the power gone next, right? You want to have that. Be honest, be forthright, be accountable, be early.
Bahamians being really real on these texts today, too. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Bahamians know that the PLP does not want the Bahamian people to know that the hotel deal collapsed because it's the final nail in the PLP coffin. The PLP continues to lie. I think they make Concord Wilshire say what they said because it's an election season to help bury them. This government is done. It's not coming back there's no coming back for the PLP government. It just lies after lies after lies. The PLP is desperate for a second term to hide all the damage they have done in this country and want a second term to hide it. We will need to persecute them once they're out of office.
You know what is kind of amazing? When Concord Wilshire makes their announcement, as they promised in their press release, within the next 2 weeks, we need hard numbers. We need named partners. We need full details. It cannot just be, in 2 weeks, come to us and say, we're about to start applying for permits because, we are finalizing the deal with these partners. You could build your hotel in phases. You could build your resort in phases. But I am sorry, credibility cannot move in phases.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Naughty, please ask MJ how many press secretaries did Trump get rid of over his tenure? Maybe Brave should pull a page out of Trump's book.
Off the top of my head, that first term, I think the one that he has now has been there, Levitt. She's been there the whole new term. But he went through a couple the last time. I remember he had Sean Spicer, then I think it was Huckabee Sanders, Huckabee Sanders, and then after that it was Kaylee,
whatever her name
McNamee or something like that. So maybe he ran through 3 the first time. He's had 1 right now. So
Naughty and MJ, the Grand Lucayan journey has finished from last year, June. The PM is stalling for election to come. The PM is to blame for all of the hotel deal falling through. And Naughty, what is the PM saying to Sabas after those headlines in Eyewitness News? What is he really saying?
We are told that there's a wall between
that's fine.
ownership and management over there.
I look at it as dominoes. That's a strategic play right there.
I don't see those as being related. I don't.
Naughty Concord Bush has left the room. No coming back. They only came to drink, eat, and leave. Party over.
They just need to be very specific with us, and hopefully, that'll restore some trust, some credibility.
Naughty, this government is goosey, and I ain't gonna use the other word. into heck like we
Please
like
don't.
it. We have to show them who is an April Fool's. Give every one of them an enema and let them go to geriatrics. All right, I see you're fired up, texter, but I can't read all them texts on there, especially the one about Murphy. I can leave that alone.
The language in their press release, right? Discussions remain active. What discussions? Planning is advancing. What planning?
Is that another why
Hey,
says
listen,
BS still flowing?
Listen. Capital structuring continues. You all know corporate speak, right? What we should have heard was financing secured, closed, acquisition completed, money in the bank. We haven't heard any. They don't want to
All
ever
we keep
know.
getting is see what had happened was, and
Discussions
what would you like me to
remain
say about that?
active. Discussions remain active. Oh, okay, wow.
Naughty and MJ, based on everything that has transpired surrounding the lack of transparency and accountability, can we trust any announcements made with this deal in this administration? No. The BPL dump was to confuse. If they wanted you to follow what they did, they would have released in sync an individual document based on dates each was signed.
I
There are
can't.
some contracts missing, confusion expected.
I can't agree with that any more than I do. That texter is so accurate. You know?
Critical Thinker said he's willing to bet his professional reputation that the 3 docs from CWC came from the office of the Prime Minister's computers. Please tell Latrey call C. Allen out. I don't want to believe anything he says, but he might be right unless he is called out.
I think the
Latrey
first one
heard
is in question for
him
sure.
just like he heard Lang and sent those releases out. Critical Thinker, man, you and C. Allen, you all been going at it for years. You all need to bury the hatchet, you know.
Let's
You all
go to-
need your own show together.
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Good day, good evening to both you guys.
Hi.
You wonderful guys, I should say.
Hi.
And the Bahamas and
Good
Dodge.
evening. What's happening?
Now, the one or two bit I want to share with my fellow citizenry is that the present government and successive governments, I want to put a question to them. I have my own personal answer. Have any of those governments present themselves in such a way for them to believe, for us to believe anything that they put before us? Now, my answer is no. So I don't think, I'm not saying that you guys are doing it, but I don't think that it should be apprehensive or tentative to just outright say that we don't have any reason to believe anything any of these guys put to us, because they place themselves in that situation. Because I'll say this, if it were our personal relationships, meaning our kids or our spouses, we would say the same thing to them if they display that kind of behavior. We would say, why should I believe you? You never give me any reasons to believe you. And that is a sad state where we are with our government.
Yeah.
And it's just really sad, man. It's like, and you know, we say, yes, this COL or whatever they are, right? I'll be honest with you, I don't know anything about the leader credibility or not, but boy, I don't.
Well, no, but see that's where you put me in a quandary, caller. You say you have it and good stuff. Don't be a
Thank you.
stranger.
Thank you so much,
But that's where
caller.
you put me in a quandary. You say that these previous 2 administrations have been proven to be untruthful in the past. Well, you have a organization coming in which is with its leader haven't served a day yet, wanting to become leadership or wanting to become government in this country, and his whole foundation is based on untruths and conspiracy theories and open-ended statements with no solutions and no backups. I think that party's message is lost with their leader. Maybe they should let their deputy leader speak a little more.
But to the caller's bigger point, which is that if you are standing in front of the people saying, believe me, then you should have a track record
Of being
that
believable.
allows people to believe you without
Correct.
going through all of this we're going through right now. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Good evening, Naughty. How you doing? I just want to call because I see what's going on with this energy agreement, and I say, boy, I wonder if Naughty thought about me.
Well, I know when it comes to energy, you could be not too far away. I know how you go.
I have to call Naughty because what make me laugh, right? I'm not sure if more persons understand or knew this, but in 2023, based on the secrecy of the agreements, is what prompted us to actually go and put the government in court, file for an injunction and a judicial review. Okay? It's unfortunate the legal system or legislative branch of our country did not, I guess, respond in the timely manner that we had anticipated, but these were the issues that, based on what was going on, we see movement on the ground, things happening, money's being raised, but there's no information regarding what's going on with these deals. And now, 4 years later, we get a surprise pretty much of what's going on. And so, and then it's not even a strong deal because you give them away everything. I mean, you actually put more chains on the Bahamian people, neck and hands.
I still don't know how to maths in that deal there. I don't.
Say it again?
I say I don't know how the maths in that deal. It makes no sense mathematically.
No, the deal makes a lot of sense for the person if you was a part of the few. When you talk about the exemptions, you talk about the concessions, the removal of the VAT, you talk about the return on the distribution and what they base their value on. You talk about just the gridlocks that a government would put their people or put a group preference over their own people in terms of benefits.
Correct. A small minority always ends up making us the majority suffer. They get generational wealth and we get sufferation.
Now, the problem with the PLP find themselves in, the quagmire, is the fact that this wasn't something that the people permitted them to do. This is something that they went on their own to do on the basis under the people's umbrella. See, that's a difference.
And that's taking advantage of the situation. That's infringement, and
Now we start to think about what act did they create. Now, yes, we looking at who will be the next governance and see what really kind of peeved me in terms of the leadership of the opposition is we don't need the persons who just can clearly identify the issues. We need persons who can take the next step and put in action the forces or enact the law. Go to courts, file these injunctions, file these judicial reviews, put fire to their feet, try to gain the media attention because you would versus I would, because no one knew we put the government in court. The media didn't want to show it.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, but these things are happening because these are things what we needed to do, because we now had to have a reason to say to Mr. Davis when he said that the agreements was already tabled, that was not true, because that's the reason why he put you in court.
Thank you so
excellent
much.
points,
Thank you
Angela.
so
Don't be a
much.
stranger. We got to get you on a Friday for a weekend review. I go reach out to you and make it happen, all right? Good stuff as always, though. Always good to hear from you. Let's get to the other call. Talking Heads. Talking Heads.
Yeah, you didn't allow me to finish. I don't think it was intentionally, but I was getting to the leader. If the CLOs would ever stand a chance, I think they need to trade in the leader. I don't think he's the one to get them to the promised land. And then with C. Allen, I was a big fan until he joined up with one of the existing party, because he's very intelligent. He has a lot of information, but I think he lacks wisdom in his choice. And mind you, I respect his choice. But if you want to make change, you cannot go in the same mud that you're trying to change and saturate yourself in that muddy. I mean, the guy.
Then what do you suggest, though?
I wouldn't.
I mean, you say the F&M bad, the PIB bad, the COI lost what they later.
like
So
that.
what's your suggestion?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a very brilliant question. A change, just like they say, a journey of a million miles starts with one step. So a change makes the revolution. Let me put it. A change is towards a revolution. And the revolution may not come in naughty time. It may not come in my time. But someone has to have the vision. Someone has to have the vision and the insight to see it and begin it. Because remember, I'm naughty. Not because you start the journey towards a revolution, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be there to see it through.
That's a very good point. I mean, but it takes a step. So we're taking a step in that direction. Where do we go after we take the first step? We got to take the second step and the third. In which direction are we going, considering our options? I think maybe we need to create a new option, a new path forward, if that's the case.
Okay, Mr. Naughty. I'm going to leave that right there.
All right, Mr. Whoever you are, I
so
leave that right
formal.
there, and don't be no stranger.
Oh boy! On the comments on the BPL deal, like I said, I have not gone through all of it, so I'm kind of reticent to say anything about it. But I will say this: because I think, just based on my cursory glance of those BPL agreements, I think that we have now hit the point. You know, you've heard people talk about kicking the can down the road, right? We have kicked this can so far down, and ta-da, we're
There's a
at
hole
the
in the
end.
can now, and we got a
We're,
cut on our
we're at
foot.
one of the ends of one part of consequences of doing that. Energy reform was never going to be cheap.
Nope.
There was never, after years of structural inefficiencies, management problems, weak risk management, reform was always going to be extremely expensive. And I think that when we go through those documents in details, we're going to find that Bahamians are going to have to pay a very high price for the incompetence of this administration, past administrations, we are going to have to pay a price.
Oh, and what a price that is going to be.
A heavy price. Because if you look at what this deal does, where it kind of moves transmission and distribution to a more private structure, right? That is for several reasons. And some of these reasons are going to hurt when we learn why. We're going to feel a particular kind of way when we understand why the government doesn't even want to have control over transmission and distribution anymore. It's a price we have to pay to get certain things done. When we go into this, we'll discuss whether the price we're paying is proportionate, because I think there's a real debate on that. And I think that we could hear about, several ways they could have structured this deal just a little bit better. But I will tell you this, just looking at the deal on the surface, the negotiators on the other side of this deal, that's who I want working for me.
Yeah.
The ones on the other side, for the other company that's who I want working
for us.
Me and for the Bahamian people. Because our side,
ain't working.
No. And I know we had to pay a price for being, slack for many years, but my God, give me those other negotiators.
Naughty and MJ, we need dates and times and KPI that can track.
KPI. I'm with you, Texter.
Another one.
Need to know how, if the capital expenditure, if it's built into the deal, like what are the goals? What are the standards? Is it in the deal? I mean, I'll look. I promise I will look.
Naughty, when you say Trump ran through press secretaries, you'll have to be specific. Thought this was a family show.
No.
Hold on.
No.
He went through a lot of press secretaries.
He went through 3, at least I remember off the top of my head, first term. But so far he's with one.
Right.
He's with one.
And just so you know, Texter, I could run through stationery. I could run through a notebook real quick. I mean, writing and come on, where you at, man?
Yeah, he did go through three of them. He went through at least 3. First term though, he's steady for this term.
Okay, are we all on the same page now? All right. We got the semantics police out and about. Northern MJ, the best government since 1982 was led by Mr. Hubert Ingram. No leaks and most fairness in this country. Yeah, we just heard Pearly, I think.
Okay. Go ahead, say that, but read that one again. I'm sorry, you said Mr. Ingram.
Do we have Pearly?
We do have Pearly, but you were reading a text about.
Yeah.
I feel slighted.
I'm sorry.
Well, you should have said something long time ago.
Right now, Pearly.
I said good afternoon.
Oh, didn't hear you then, but I hear you now.
Naughty, MJ, and Pearly. The best government since 1982 was led by Mr. Hubert Ingram. No leaks, most fairness in this country. Go ahead, Pearly.
No leaks.
I know I usually come on for sports, and I try to stay out of the political talk with you guys. That's who you get. But something your caller said that really got me like, ugh.
What's that?
And say, oh, the PLP and the FNM and the COI are no good. We need change. And see, I look at it like this. The Americans going to celebrate 250 years as a country. They haven't gotten it right yet. Because you see what they're going through. The Europeans that have been this over 1,000 years, they have not gotten it right. You see what goes on in England and other countries, in France and everything like that. We've been at this 53 years. We still got a lot of work to do, a lot of growing pains, and a lot of learning to do. I am an advocate of change from within because no one is yet to say we need change. And when you say we need change, what do we need to do for this change? Do we need to go from a parliamentary democracy to a republic? Do we need to go to a communist nation? Do we need to, whatever, what is it that we need to do for you to see change? Because we have a constitution that whoever's in power is going to work by the constitution. Also, any party that forms now coming out of the PLP or the FNM. So you're basically coming with similar philosophies that the FNM have and or similar philosophies that the PLP has. So when you say you want change, fine. Tell us what that change is. Don't just be critical. Come out and say, this is what I would like to see. I would like to see a communist nation. I like to see this nation. I like to see that nation. I like to see a president voted for. Then we can say be talking about change. But don't come here and be critical and you got no ideas. Just because it's the new thing to say, we need change. We need change. Let's give us what the change are. Let's give us the solutions as well.
We got you.
Happy to hear the solutions.
All right. Here comes some text what I want you two to chime in on. Good afternoon, Naughty, MJ, and Pearly. C. Allen said from the very beginning that the Bizarre Africa deal would never happen. Guess he knew that the complexity of the Bizarre owners. Gregory Moss and C. Allen tried to buy the Bizarre in 2015, 2016, but couldn't get the 14-plus owners to agree on a price or what is owed to Grand Bahama Port Authority. They had explained a mix of commercial restaurants, etc. complex, including all of the property north of Close Road, the old casino and hotel property, and Bizarre. Check the old newspapers and ask him to explain when you get him on air again. All right, I'll ask C. Allen to explain that again. Good afternoon, Naughty, MJ, and Pearly. I'm so glad that this government wasn't able to put a muzzle on you and MJ and Pearly like they did to so many other talk show personnel. Keep up the good work. Yeah, but my mouth big. That's why I didn't get braces. None could fit. So you think braces can't fit and muzzle could fit? Please.
Okay.
Naughty, MJ, and Pearly, when I look at this government, I wonder who wears the pants. A boat of drunken sailors or pirates? Both. Yeah, and here it comes. Naughty, why would C. Allen join and follow someone who stole an ideology and vision and badly represents it? Someone he can call a con artist with no fear of contradiction or a libel of defamation charge. He has the Supreme Court, Appellate Court, and Privy Council on his side. Naughty, MJ, and Pearly, I think Brave, Latre, and that crew running scared. You think? And finally, Naughty and MJ and Pearly, MJ is correct. If the government did a data dump and included probate information, then they are in violation of their own Data Protection Act, which governs privacy of personal data. Glad MJ called this out.
I just don't want to see any customer information in that data dump. It's not, I don't think that was necessary. Just, clean it up a little bit.
You know, they always say if you want to hide something from behemoths, put it in a book. Why you can drop 3,000 pages one time?
Right.
Because
they think we're lazy, but we're not lazy. We're not lazy.
No, but I think
going through that line for line, word for word, with a fine-tooth comb and coming out with what they have to say.
Bar for bar.
I think it's imperative, though, that all of these issues that we've talked about are red flags or signals to Bahamians at large to get registered to vote. Register to vote. Whichever party works or you resonate to, that's fine. Register to vote if you haven't registered.
You know what you got. If you decide to stay on the vote, you may get stuck with what you got. Is that what you want?
If you've already registered, verify.
You don't have to verify. You could just, when you see them check, make sure your name on the register, but you do not have to verify. You can vote with your purple card. Only if you're transferring, you got to go and show how you transfer one constituency to the next. But outside of that, if you're on the registration, you can vote as you are now.
Brilliant, because I got my purple card. That's what I go in with.
Once you got it, and if you see the PLP, the COI, the FNM coming through your neighborhood, they ask my name on the it, and once they say, yeah, I see it, okay, you're good.
Oh, good. They can tell us right then when they come campaigning?
Yes, they know. They know every registered person in the area.
Awesome.
Everybody who has been registered, they know. And what has to happen is when you die or something, they're supposed to take you off the registration, but they're not doing a great job of that. But they know they have a copy of the registration for every constituency.
Great. When they come through again, I will confirm. Thank you for that, Pearly. They didn't know that they had It
But
rights with them.
I think it, like I say, it's a call because there's a lot of things going on. We're not getting any accountability from this administration. We got to take it into our own to take this country back. We got to make sure the Bahamas we save is our Bahamas. And listen, Texter, I appreciate this, and I really mean this, but you really should watch how you add this little piece to the end. Naughty, we can do 4 hours with MJ, 2 to 6 p.m. I agree. MJ bad like that and good like that, right? But here, little sarcasm. Oh, and you can insert sports whenever. No. You can take your text and insert it. Anyway, you know what I want you to do?
No.
Take your finger and insert it in your nose and push it forward until you see black and stars.
Thank you so much, Texter. But
yes, MJ does deserve her own show. She's bad like that.
4 hours is a lot. I used to do 4 hours, but it was like a lot of music in between.
And again,
back in the day,
I have no comment. I have no problem with the comment. I agree. MJ bad like that. She is brilliant. But don't just throw it in there toward the end, backhand slap toward me and Pearly. Oh, and you could insert sports whenever. Insert your finger in your nose
Let's
and
go to
keep
the
pushing
phone
until
line.
you see stars, Texter.
We're rapid,
do.
Mr. Producer. Phone lines?
Let's go to the phone. Talking heads.
Yes, I came on at the very right time because I came to talk sports. Right.
There you go.
Because I want to say good Naughty and good evening Naughty, MJ and Pearly. I want to be as good as Naughty. No, you know, I always celebrate Naughty.
Thank you. You're great for my ego, and I appreciate that, and I want you to always score.
Don't swallow
Not at all. It's not at all. Not at all. No. I love the way you read your text, and that's why it's not ego. No, I'm telling the truth. Naughty is good. Now
he knows that. 20 years in the business, he knows that.
I'm looking at the Knicks come back winning in the final quarter, man. I want to know if anything like that ever happened before.
Yeah, they've had some brilliant NBA comebacks in NBA history, and that's right up there with one of the best comebacks ever. Purdy, wouldn't you agree that Nick comeback the other day from 18 down was one of the best we've seen in a while?
I watched it as I said, oh man, these guys get mashed up. And when I look, I said, let me watch this, and it turned out to be a really good game. And you know why they called Bronson the playoff man, because this brother knows how to play in clutch situation. And he had 4 clutch buckets. I haven't seen much. That's one of the top ones.
And make sure call in earlier tomorrow. Call us so you got more than 2 minutes to tell me how good I am. I appreciate you.
And I wear my black and white, so go Spurs.
Hey, Purdy, you got to rescue me. It's become a Spurs household. Jerseys are being broken out. Hats are being broken out. Matching tennis to go with the sweatsuits are being broken out. Yeah, please rescue me from Spurville. All right, Purdy? Please help. But anyway, for Purdy, for MJ, who is truly the best in the business, this is your boy Naughty, and we the trio here at Talking Heads. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you calling in. And, of course, we'll do it again tomorrow right here on Talking Heads, the talk show that other talk shows listen to. We'll see you right here tomorrow right here on Talking Heads.
King Meal Deals give you big taste, value, and options for just $5.50, including VAT. Love that BK Flame Grilled Beef? Grab a Rodeo Burger Jr. served with crispy fries and a drink. Or if you like chicken, go for the Rodeo Crispy Chicken Jr. or the 6-piece Nugget Meal, also with fries and a drink. One price, tons of choices, and flavor that hits every time. The King Meal Deals are only $5.50 at Burger King Nassau, where taste is on fire.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put
over half a century, Hongxi has been reserved only for heads of state and world leaders. It wasn't just a car, it was a privilege. Easy Car Sales is proud to bring that distinguished heritage to the Bahamas. A new era in luxury electric, rooted in absolute prestige. It's for the few who demand freedom from the gas pump and first-class craftsmanship. Visit Easy Car Sales to see if you're ready for a taste of royalty.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
The fried chicken experts are back with a brand new way to enjoy your favorite sandwich. Introducing the Wrap Star. Crunch into the Wrap Star, full of flavor and wrapped in a warm grilled tortilla for the perfect crunchy bite. Made modern, that's crunchy, melty, and grilled to perfection for all the journeys of your day. KFC, it's finger licking good.
This is Guardian Radio.